Welcome to the channel and update 26 of Medieval Kingdom Wars. As you can see here, it came out on the 25th of August 2017. And I'm just going to read through here the kind of overview of the update. Following a great sale event last week, we are back to work on new features, and today we're excited to release one of our biggest updates so far, the long-awaited update 26. Finally, campaign basics are starting to take shape, and now your armies use actual units, and we are a step closer to completing the foundation of the campaign. You'll be noticed that the update have really evolved in campaign gameplay. New strategies, new challenges. This update will include dozens of players' suggestions, requests from last week, and completely rework the balancing of the campaign gameplay. And of course, you can expect another awesome update next week. Now, this is the update I've been waiting for, because it actually introduces the ability to recruit units into your armies and start to shape armies the way that you want. And I think this is a really big update. Now, before I go into the details, and there is a lot of details, guys, so I'm not going to cover every single thing that's in this update. What I will do though is put the full release notes into the video description if you want to read them. Now, what I am going to say, guys, is this release, like so many times with early access games, and you can't blame the devs on this because they are developing the game, the campaign save maps are not compatible with the update. So if you've got an existing campaign, sorry, you're going to have to delete it and start again. If you do open it by accident, what actually happens, guys, is all the menu systems are knocked out, and the only way you can clear it is by quitting out of the game and coming back in again. So let's just get into it, guys, and clear a few of these because I can't remember which ones are ones I've been experimenting with. I'm just going to start the campaign. I say apologies, guys, but I'm using France for a very specific reason, because I want to actually kind of talk about a point. Okay, guys, here we are. We are on the map, and what I'm going to do is there's quite, as I said, there's quite a long list, but I'm only going to touch on the key features. And the first one is that if I click on here, it says armies can now recruit and hold units like garrisons. So basically, this is my army I've been supplied for, and you can see we've got a couple of workers, the obligatory chickens, we've got a little bit of cash, and you can recruit army units from this army here. And I think what I'll probably do is, just for the fun of it, I'll grab a Knights Templar. There we are, guys, we've recruited a Knights Templar, and then the next point, it says armies spawn the units they hold. So effectively what it's stating is the obvious, that if we attack Tours or was it Romantin, what will actually happen is the army up this army here is the army I will start with. And it says, now here's the two key points that really interest me. It says, end of the battle, armies remember which units one has left and then one has trained. And it says, at the end of the battle, armies remember the resources that were left. And I think this is the key factor, in the sense that it encourages you to fight the battles manually, because cash is going to be a bit tight until they sort out the economic aspects of the campaign. And your only real source of income now is taxation. And if I click here, you will see they've now revamped the UI here, and now it's a bit more clearer. This, I presume, is garrison army strength, and this is the amount of cash being available for taxes. I think if I go collect taxes, yeah, that's the taxes I can collect in Orleans. And again, if I come here, I've got an army strength. Obviously we can't raise any taxes. Now what I'm actually going to do, guys, is I'm going to come I need to click the army, click here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an auto resolve, because I want to illustrate a point, guys. We should win the battle. Yeah. So we've won this battle. And if I come in here now, oh, we've lost one worker. Now that's going to make illustrating this point a little bit difficult, guys, because the previous two times I've done this, I actually lost both workers. But I think it's going to be quite adequate here. Now, the one thing I would say, guys, about this, it says armies remember the resources that they had left. It'd be nice if there was some way you could see the resources in this menu when you were looking at this for the army, so you know what you actually done. Anyway guys, now to illustrate the potential problem here, although this isn't going to be an accurate representation, but if we come now over and attack, and I'm not going to fight this battle guys, I want to keep this video quite short. And here we are guys, we're in on the battle map, all our troops are gathered. As I say, I'm not going to fight this battle to a conclusion, so we're going to lose it because I'm going to quit, but what I do want to show you is that
stand ready.
I kind of move the troops away.
Awaiting your orders.
Now I've got one serf left, which means he can go and cut wood. But, and this is the big but guys, and this is something you're going to have to watch on the auto resolves, is that if I'd lost both my serfs in that auto resolve, or if I'd fought a battle and lost all my, so I had no serfs. See where it says here down in this the bottom right here, it says 15 out of 16. What effectively happens is it will spawn your army without serfs. And if I come in here and say recruit another one, it says you do not have enough resources. So there's a little bit of a warning in there. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's something to remember guys, that if you're not paying attention to your army makeup, I mean if I now probably quit back to the campaign map, we're going to lose this battle. Oh, we still got our serf there, he's still surviving, that's good. As I say, the test battle I did before, both disappeared, but I mean to me that's fine. I mean maybe it's random, but obviously our troops are here. That's just something to watch out for guys. If you are kind of fighting battles, do not lose both your serf units, because you will not be able, you will have, I mean it's fine. I mean if you're attacking, you've got a level 3 army and you're attacking a kind of some minor settlement. I can't find a minor settlement around here. I mean if you were attacking say a level 2 city and you had a level 3 fully equipped army, you could probably get away with it, because you obviously wouldn't want to spend time building your army up to attack them. You just get in the boot straight away. But this takes me on to another point guys, is that yes, you can spend the money to recruit armies. I'm not going to spend the money here because I want to use the money for another purpose, but fighting battles manually, especially battles that you can win without taking too many casualties. So in some ways there's an incentive. I mean I should have fought that Battle of Tours manually, because I could have been able to build up some troops and recruit extra troops into my army, made my army even bigger, so that I could go in and conquer other settlements, where if you do the auto resolve, even if you win you lose troops, and then you've got to spend valuable gold to actually replace them. So that's a point, something to think about guys. Now we're going to move on, and next thing I'm going to show you here is another option that's been introduced. This is the reason why I've been hanging on to the money, because they've now introduced level 0 armies. And if I recruit this army, basically your army is 2 workers and 2 chickens. And I mean it'd be nice if you could merge these armies. I don't know if you could. No. I mean just do a test, see if the two armies walk into each other, whether they're I suppose that was too much to wish for, but it means that you can now recruit and build your own custom armies, and of course we can add some artillery to it if necessary, which would be really cool. So you could actually build a siege army. So to me this is a bit that's really exciting me, and I'm sorry I'll keep talking about it guys, but it does really excite me. Now what I'm going to do now is, I've covered a lot of the bits and pieces. I'm going to go through some of the what I wouldn't say lesser changes, but other changes. And it says here they've greatly increased the max zoom on the battle mode. I haven't tested that guys, I haven't really fought a full-length battle. New world music tracks, so they've added new music tracks to the campaign map. Double the number of unique voice responses that serves play by adding 50 new voice lines. Units no longer auto attack buildings and every citizen, so that's quite useful when your armies are trying to advance. Now I've selected the balance changes, which kind of are the most interesting from my point of view, and as I'll reiterate guys, if you want to see all the details, there will be a full list of all the changes in the video description. It says hamlets now get 6 building plots, so I think Tours counts as a hamlet because it's only a level 2, so if we kind of whip into Tours, and of course even though this is a newly conquered settlement, you get a fairly reasonable army. True, yes, they're hunters and they're not particularly brilliant, but hamlets now get 6 buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Got this here for the palisade, and of course we get the towers. The other thing I want to illustrate is, and it's in the balance changes, it says sheep no longer generate gold, and I kind of build the barn just to show you guys. Still not convinced about these towers. I still think that settlement should get a small basic palisade, and then the next level up should be able to upgrade that palisade to the one similar to a battle. So I think that's an area where there needs to be a little bit more work. I mean, these towers would be great if they fired at defenders, or you could put your arc.
Need help, my lord.
Or
Looking to hide your grace.
so you can't put can't put anyone in the towers, which is a bit unfortunate, guys. I mean, I think there's a little bit more work needs to be done with this, but I'm convinced the devs will take comments on board and kind of talk about that. And while that's building, guys, I'll just go through the other balance change. It says they've nerfed archers' effectiveness against heavy armor. I'm glad to see that. I think that bit is the beginning of balancing the relationship between units. Right, the barn's finished, and what they've done is they've taken this away, but I know if you read these, it says resources by laying eggs, sheep can be slaughtered for food, peasants train cows through milking, slaughtered, but you've got 4 types of animals there, but to me there isn't a big enough definition between that. You know, I mean, they slowly generate and then you slaughter them, but I quite like the idea of having sheep generating gold or producing wool. If they produce something else besides that, which you could then sell in the market. I mean, if you come here, I mean, there is a market building here. We're just going to build the market very, very quickly just to show you guys. And carry on reading. It says army tents also now give 50% more population. Of course, army tents relate to skirmish battles. And they've also said added counter to heavy troops. Crossbowmen and macemen now can take out heavily armed troops. So again, I think that's another element of the fact they're now starting to balance the different units within the armies, which I think is really cool, because I like the idea of having different abilities and the kind of rock paper scissors approach from another game, which I won't mention here. And I think that's something that's going to be really, really worth considering, guys, is that these troops have these attributes. It says this sell gold, sell thing here, stone and gold. And it'd be really nice if that was expanded, turning back to here, that sheep produced wool, which you could then sell in the market. You know, to give a bit more depth to the economy, but that might be coming, guys, so I'm not going to whinge too much about it. I do really, really enjoy this game, so I don't want to be nitpicking, because again, as I said, it's early access. I think we're going to nip back to the main screen. I think I've covered most of the points of the release. I think the biggest part is this army recruitment. I did that campaign video I did a very, very long time ago, which just seems to be very popular, but it's very out of date, and what I will be doing is updating that campaign video, playing a campaign, talking a bit more about how building things up and advantages, we'll have some fun with the armies here, and we might even thank you. Might probably play England rather than France. I think we've had enough of France. Maybe we can come up to England in the campaign. We will play England and see if we can conquer London and start founding a dynasty in the English kingdom. But that will be for a specific video, guys. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it, because I think I've covered all the key points. I've covered the army structure just to kind of there. I know I've kind of battered my army here, but you can see here I'm really looking forward to that. The one thing I would say, guys, is in here, if the tooltips were expanded a little bit to give you an idea of the stats of the troops you were recruiting, that's one thing I would like to see here, so that you could kind of look over these guys and see what their stats were like. At the moment you've got cavalry there, powerful armoured assault, but it'd be nice if the tooltip showed you what that is. And the other thing I would say is, if these units gain rank, if there was something on here that actually illustrated the rank and all that. I'm assuming that an army that recovers and doesn't die, these are full strength troops, but I think that will all come in the future. I think I've got a bit distracted. I think this is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. As I say, feel free to put a comment on and what you think of the new update. As I say, I will be following up with a specific campaign video where I will go into some of this in a lot more detail. But until then, guys, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.